This video is a follow-on from the hardware and software interface video in the NewTek TriCaster TC8000 series. If you haven't watched this yet, I suggest you check that out first. In this video, I'm discussing vision mixing basics, differentiating program from preview, and covering basic TBar, take, and transition concepts. Just like microphones being used to pick up different audio sources in a performance, cameras can be used to capture different angles or areas of a performance. As an audio mixer sums all audio signals together creating an audio mix, the vision mixer operator chooses from a selection of sources to preview them to choose which video signals take over as the main program output. With basic vision mixing, there isn't as much mixing as in audio, as signals either cut directly to program, replacing the previous signal using the take button or program source buttons, or transition over each other using the TBar or the auto button for preset durations. Within most vision mixers, it is possible to have signals overlay the program output, such as title or station IDs. On most vision mixers, this function is made possible with keys, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. The simplest way to use a vision mixer is to understand the function of the preview and program selector buttons. For preview, the vision mixers have many video input sources, and choosing which one to show as the main output of your program should not be done without seeing its contents first. The TriCaster 8000 CS has a button layer specifically dedicated to choosing your preview sources. For program, once the preview source has been chosen, the operator needs to take that signal to the program output. This is often done on a TBar or with a take or auto button. The preview then becomes program and vice versa. An alternative to previewing the content before taking it to program would be to have all sources displayed on a multi-view screen and the operator just cuts the desired source to the program from there. As mentioned in the hardware and software interface video, the TriCaster has a few multi-view windows that can be used for this purpose. When practicing using the TBar to transition between preview and program, or between A and B with MEs, it's worth focusing your attention to only the area that is being switched. So for this example, we're going to be working in the main area. ME1 has been chosen as the program source and GFX1 has been chosen as the preview source. So the Academy of Sound Engineering logo is our GFX source as preview, and the virtual set is our ME source. Looking at the program output, when pulling the TBar from top to bottom, you will see two things happening. The program output fades from the Virtual Studio to the ASC logo. The TBar also changes color from red at the top down to green near the bottom, and then changes back to red when the transition is complete. It's important to understand that this fade occurs because it has been set to fade. Alternatively, you could set the TBar to perform a transition with the trans button below. Now with the TBar at the bottom and showing a red color to let you know that your chosen source is on program, you will see that the GFX1 source has now swapped over to the program source, and ME1 has swapped over to the preview source, as shown here. Again, looking at the program output, when pulling the TBar from the bottom to top, you will see that the program fades from the ASC logo to the Virtual Studio, and that the TBar changes from red at the bottom up to green near the top and then changes back to red when the transition is complete. So still focusing on our main transition area, alternatives to using the TBar or fades or transitions are the take and auto buttons. In this example, we are still using the ME1 and GFX1 sources as program and preview. When pressing the take button, you will notice two things. The virtual set gets replaced by the ASC logo on the program output, and vice versa happens on the preview. And the program and preview sources buttons swap their selection. This all happened a bit quickly, so I'll do this again a few times. Swapped over, and again, and again. Using this method, or switching directly on the program source buttons, is by far the most popular method of switching video sources, as fades and transitions don't often keep up with the pace of a production and can tend to distract the audience if used at the wrong times. Now for this example, we are doing exactly the same thing but with the auto button. When pressing the auto button, you'll notice two things. The virtual set fades to the ASE logo on the program output and vice versa happens on the preview. And the program and preview source buttons also swap their selection. I'll do this again a few times so you can see the fade. Swapped over, and again, and again. This is an alternative method to using the TBar and has a similar effect. As with the TBar, it can be set to either fade or transition. I hope that this has given you enough of an idea of what basic vision mixing is about. I suggest you try to watch this video while working on the TriCaster to be able to perform these actions as you learn about them. Please check out the next video about the background layer, keys, and ME buses.